Welcome to the Empowered Podcast with Deanna Merlino, an all-encompassing personal development show where I will be sharing with you just how to transform yourself into the best version of you, both inside and out. From wellness, entrepreneurship, spirituality, and manifestation, I'll be showing you exactly how to live your best life. I will be keeping it as real and raw as it gets. So get ready to peel back the layers and really transform yourself under the surface. Because nothing is better than finding your purpose and living this life as your true, authentic self. Welcome back, Empowered Fam. So I have been doing a month of entrepreneurial interviews, and I'm really excited for who I have to interview next week, but we're taking a break that I'm really excited about. And we are having a moment with Brittany Dunbar, who has been on the podcast before, and she's my retreat business partner. And I figured today was just a perfect plug-in, and we're going to talk about our retreat because we are having one coming up shortly. So Britt, I don't know if you want to just give an update, give anything. I know my guests know who you are, but anything that's on your heart to share as we dive in today.
I would say not to start with a downer, but my main thing that I was going through at that moment was pregnancy. And so I was pregnant in that moment in the last episode, and I ended up miscarrying literally that next week. And so oh crap, that episode's coming out. And so I just kind of had to get that off my heart and my chest to just give people that update. I'm still going through my fertility journey, very much in it. And that was consuming a lot of my life and not in a good way. I was not in a good place. And I think diving back into the retreat and starting this other business that we'll talk about here in a little bit, it's helped me through it and kind of take my mind off of fertility stuff. And I don't think in a bad way. It's kind of just redirecting my energy into something greater at this present moment, because I'm obviously baby doesn't want to come in right now. There's other things that I need to be doing for myself. And I think the community and basically the universe, because we're all in it together. And so I'm really excited about our next retreat because it was a good little break since August. And we could kind of take care of ourselves and figure out what's next for you and I, and dive into other things that we want to share with the retreats and next little project, because we're constantly learning and growing and wanting to share with all of you. So I just had to tell everyone that it hasn't happened yet, but I'm hopeful and I'm in a really good place now. So I feel good.
I'm glad that you shared that. And I know I thought about that immediately after, and I was like, what the frick? Come on. But I'm so glad that you shared on that, and that obviously I've been here throughout that time period. So I've, seen the ups and downs, and I'm so glad that you're in a high place right now. But I love that we're talking about this for a brief moment because I have so many listeners who I know are either dealing with literally the exact same thing or are in the process of trying to get pregnant. And I went through the same thing where I struggled to get pregnant, and it's so common, and I don't think it's being talked about enough. But also how freaking crazy, since we're just having a chill conversation today, how crazy that this is so prevalent now. I feel like miscarriage and all of these things is so much more common now than it's ever been before. What the frick is going on?
There's a lot. I wish I had an answer because it would explain a lot, a lot of things for myself. But it's that could be a whole different topic to talk about, and our own journeys, because every single person's is different, in every space. But I would say especially fertility. And so that could be a whole different.
Literally. I know my brain was immediately about to start down a rabbit hole, and I'm like, that's not what we're here for today. I literally think that our entire lives is going down rabbit holes. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. Inside scoop on what Brittany and I talk about every day. No, yeah. So talking about the retreat. Okay. Let's drop the deets first. So the next retreat is April 21st to 23rd, which we're really excited about because that is Earth Day weekend. There's a new moon. So it's going to be super powerful. We have been, I mean, it's just been working out in our favor that the retreats keep falling around either a full moon or a new moon. So then we're able to kind of base that energy that's going to be in the air on what we plan on doing for the retreat. And as far as more details. So it's all inclusive. We the lodging is included, super cozy, comfy lodging. It is at the land where I have rental properties that my dad built, so we do them there. Brittany makes the food. It's the most delicious, nutritious, just soul comforting food. And all of the healing modalities and just everything that we're doing is all included. So definitely, definitely, definitely. Sorry if you guys can hear my little sleep monster in the background. It's nap time, and I can hear him not wanting to go down. His new word is no. I hear that behind us, but yeah, just all the things are included. And Britt, I would love if you kind of talked about like what are we doing? What are the things we're hiring in some really amazing practitioners that we're super excited to have return as well as come for the first time. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll give the lowdown about some of the activities that we'll be doing. And Dee, I'll have you kind of talk about some of the facilitators and practitioners because Deanna does have really amazing relationships with every single person coming in. And so just to, if you wanted to give like a little background, you know, but Friday, so it's Friday to Sunday. It's just a long weekend. So we'll be doing sound healing with our resident sound healer, Jamie. And she is just like, it's a must at every single one. You drop in so deep, and she makes the elements all around us like really present and known with all the different sound healings or sound modalities that she uses, all the instruments. And so it really takes you deeper into like the woods and the air and the sun and water. Like we actually have all of those elements around us in the chalets and on Deanna's family's land. And so it's like it's actually a really beautiful experience being able to hear all of that.
It's so cool because she has each of those instruments, like each one represents a specific element. So like it's like a mini journey within a journey as she switches through the elements. It's wild. I mean, Britt and I have had some, remember when like a star came shooting in and like it's just it's wild. Like it takes you on a trippy journey and you're as sober as it gets. So it's just it's mind-boggling.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to like just to talk about that for a second because I mean we are doing so much and we'll get into all the other details. But what's one of the things that has happened to you, like an experience that has happened to you during your sound healing with Jamie?
So I guess I'll just talk about that one because and I don't remember if I talked about this before, but if I did, it's fine because it was so wild and just like how could you not talk about it? So you and I were laying next to each other in the barn and I just felt the energy around me like crazy and you felt something like through you and my for whatever reason whenever I'm like dropping in and I call dropping in like when I'm going into a session and I'm like going inside and then I trip wherever I'm going again we're sober so I use trip in a very different way but I saw like a star shoot into my eye and then all of a sudden it was like a movie was playing in my head and I saw my dad and so a very vivid memory that I obviously have because I was there after my dad passed away was when the van was taking him away. I can't think of the medical examiner van. I can't think of what that's called right now. But so like I was saying my last goodbyes, which is obviously like hands down the most awful moment of my life. And so I see this exact moment, and I'm like, "What the heck?" And it was, like, playing clear as day, and then all of a sudden, my dad sits up, and he is, like, hysterically laughing. He is so happy, and he's just like, "Dee, it's amazing over here." Like, I can't put into
Mhm.
words how amazing it is, and how obviously, like, he doesn't want me to come there anytime soon, but, like, he can't wait for me to get to see it. And it was like, my dad and I always talked about, like, aliens and, like, all this out there stuff, and he was just very much validating, like, it's that and so much more. Like, it's so incredible, but he was just so happy, and I just felt so, it was so clear. I was talking to him so clear, and I'm really grateful for that moment because obviously he knows that that was the worst moment of my life, and through that sound healing, I was able to shift that memory, and now it's like, actually, that's kind of what you do with NLP, neuro-linguistic, well, NLP means neuro-linguistic practitioner, which I do too, but you take these terrible moments that you have and you kind of rewire them so your brain thinks of them differently. And it's like he did that for me, so that now when I think of that moment, I don't want to say it's a happy moment, but it doesn't hurt me the same way because I got to have a moment where my dad was so happy, and I know that he's okay. Um, yeah, so that was an experience that I had, and it was obviously super powerful and super beautiful, and gave me a lot of peace.
I remember that. I was like, "Oh yeah, Deanna's dad is here. He is a strong freaking force, like super strong, really powerful energy." And I mean, the conversations that Deanna and I have, especially about aliens and stuff, it's like Deanna's dad is like
Yeah.
someone like he is a powerful force in the
Literally,
universe.
like, so just thinking of this for a second, like, and I think I told you, so Roseanne, who I talk about all the time, Roseanne is a ascension practitioner that both Brittany and I go to. And I did a session with her, and she did, but I never remember what it's QHHT. Yeah, quantum something hypnosis therapy. Yeah. And she was like, "Oh, yeah, your dad's here." And so I, like, literally was seeing my dad, and my dad was in, like, a general suit, but it was all white, and he was in, like, a space station. Mind you, I'm seeing this clear as day, and Roseanne is also confirming as I go, like, she's filling in the details, whatever, and she's asking God source, like, "Is this accurate?" Blah, 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 so she's giving me answers, and literally, it was like he was showing me, like, the command center, and I was like, "What is happening?" Wild. So, like, yeah, talking about, like, super trippy and, like, aliens and whatever, like, my dad's doing something crazy out there in the universe on the other side, so, and I don't know if you've listened to, the episode that I just did with Danielle McCleary. It was my very last episode. I don't know if you've listened as yet, but her dad passed away as well, and we were just kinda talking about, um, like, our experiences and everything, and obviously, like, I didn't want my dad to pass away, and we don't want anyone to pass away. Like, grief is hard, loss is hard, but being able to have these tools and be on this journey, I'm able to see the silver lining and the lessons out of it. And it's like, if my dad had not passed away, I wouldn't have been able to heal the generational patterns and cycles and the everything that needed to be ended and changed. And now that he's passed over, I'm able to make the shifts, and he's still able to guide me and be there for me throughout this entire journey. Like, whatever he's doing out there, he's not here physically, but he's still here guiding and giving me the insight and all the things. And I think a lot of what we do with the retreats too, which I love, that's why I love so much that we're able to do this together, because we always make sure to weave that into it. Like, my dad built the place. My dad, this, we're carrying on his legacy, but putting our twist on it and helping others in it as well, and getting a lot of guidance along the way.
Yeah, like he knew but didn't know, like his soul knew that land and that there is a portal of some sort there, and energetically it needed to be used for this, for everyone's ascension that's passing through that land. Like it's up level. Even if people are just renting out the chalets, it's like you feel it. It is such a magical place, and he knew
Mhm.
it.
It's so crazy because from the very first retreat we caught on camera, like literally it looks like a giant green energy, and I mean giant green energy portal, and like the fence leading into the woods. After that we had that session with Roseanne, and Roseanne cuz I kept seeing stuff on camera. Like we catch stuff on camera all the time. Literally just caught something on camera. What was that, 2 nights ago? Like an orb, alien morphing thing, whatever. And Roseanne flat out said, there is an energetic field and portal on this property. And we feel that like that is there, and it is allowing us to do so much healing on this land. And it's kind of crazy too, like some of the people that come to the retreat, yeah, we know them. Some people we don't know them, but when we all get together and once we open up and we're in that space together, it's like this soul knowing of we were all meant to be here, and we all know each other even if we don't know each other. Like we're so connected, and you get to remember that when you're at these retreats.
A lot of the people say it feels like we've known each other forever. Like we've come together in this same circle in a past life, and it just feels so right, and everyone just feels super comfortable with each other and sharing things that they've never shared with anyone before, and it's just a really beautiful moment. And I my intention of the last one was just like to be a space holder and to send love for people. I didn't really facilitate as much as I did the first time because I'm like, I feel like my energy and my frequency and vibration was needed in that one, as people were coming in with really heavy stuff. And so just sitting there and taking it all in and seeing the layers shed off of these people with second, it just like it really hit me in a good way, but also in a very just deep and energetic way. Cause I'm like, okay, I know I need a little bit more work going to being a space holder for people because I am an empath, which can be like a whole different subject to talk about as well, because there's just so much when it comes to being an empath. But I took on a lot of their stuff. You know, I didn't have that boundary set with the intention that I set as a space holder. And so it freaking took me down. Like when I got home and all the other stuff that was going on in my life at that time, so sick. I got strep throat, which I haven't had probably since I was about 10 years old, and I used to get strep throat all the time. So it actually like uncovered a lot of deep stuff within me that obviously wasn't healed yet. So it was like good, but also, and I'm like, okay, I need to start setting better boundaries. Like I had a cyst growing on my throat when I was 13, 14 years old randomly. And I got it removed. And the sucker was big too. And I was always a quiet child. Like you would never know now. And I'm like, I just kind of sat there and just took stuff in, and people would talk to me. And I really loved that people felt comfortable talking to me, but I never felt like I could voice. And so it's like, obviously, I still got some healing to do there, but it's like, yeah, we're facilitating and we're putting together these retreats for everyone, but also they're healing us time just as much, if not even more, because it's just such a big project to put on together. And there's so many moving parts, and energetically, we need to set ourselves up for that. And so it's just like, boom, like, you're ready for the next thing.
It's literally like an initiation. No, not like, it is an initiation.
Not subtle at all. These initiations that we go through, some of these things that we do. It's like it just like hammers on us.
And I mean, think of how high energy of a container that we're holding. And so we were never meant to do anything alone. We were meant to heal in communities. I mean, if you think back to shamanism and tribal healers and back to living off the land, how things used to be, and it, healing was done in groups. Everything was done in groups. Um, Raising children was done in groups. Like the saying, it takes a village, it literally takes a village. And we have so shifted out to this, just kind of dropped into my head. Think of how many times I have done it, and I'm shifting out of it, but I still do it. Is the I've got this, I'll do this on my own, I don't need anybody. We're like programmed with this ego trip of let me prove myself, I don't need anyone. It's like meant to trip us up. We are not supposed to do it alone. And so when we have these retreats and everybody is in a safe space and everyone's able to let all this stuff go, where it's so high vibe, so high frequency, just filtering pure love, that of course it hits us. Like, I mean, because we're up leveling at the same time. Before I lose this, I want to go back to something that you said because I think it's so important. You said something that was like, these people are saying things that they've never said before. I want to take a moment and give this so much focus, because for anybody listening, just imagine what it would be like to be able to let go of something that you have never been able to share before, out of fear or shame or whatever it is, or not wanting to feel that pain, but you have to feel through it to let it go. Like, you have to acknowledge it, and the body keeps the score. Whether you're thinking about it or think you're not thinking about it, anything that's happened to you, that's holding on in your body, and it's affecting every aspect of your life. So imagine how incredible it would be to be so safe and so held and so seen, to be able to let go of the things that are plaguing you. Like, that's priceless. Just think of in nature, like a tree has to shed its leaves and shed its flowers and shed whatever in the winter. It dies off, it sheds itself to then rebloom in the spring. And so that's exactly what needs to be done in order to reach that next level of healing or clarity or abundance or loving relationships or loving yourself, whatever that is that you desire to step into. You have to shed the old first in order to bloom into that next phase. You can't skip it over. It's literally like a law. Like, you just can't. So I think it's such a perfect time for us to focus on that letting go. Like, what heavy things are you holding on to, that we all hold on to, that you are ready to set down because it's not yours to carry anymore?
It's a rebirth. Like I say, spring every year. It's a rebirth. There's a method to our madness,
Yes,
people.
there really is. Okay, well, we went way off. So if you want to circle back to what else we're offering.
So, sound healing. Yes. Since August, Deanna and I have gotten now quite a few certifications that we want to start implementing.
Mhm.
So, one day, Deanna will be taking people through a womb healing ceremony,
Mhm.
which I am so stoked about. Like, again, going back to fertility, this womb needs some love.
Everyone needs womb healing. There is not a person, I should say, there's not a woman, men don't have wombs. There is not a woman on this planet who doesn't need womb healing. We carry
Mhm.
everything there. We carry other people's energy there. We carry our trauma there. We carry our grief there, all the things. And speaking of grief, I think Kaylee was talking about this the other day. Kaylee Danu, who is a guest on here and was a past practitioner of ours as well, or facilitator. Grief is not just loss or, you know, losing a loved one, heartbreak. It's not just those things. Grief is also the versions of ourselves that we never got to be. The
Mm.
dreams that we never chased after. The the failures that we've been through. And I use failure not in a bad way, because in order to be successful, you have to go through failure. There's no other way. But it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean that it doesn't sting. I mean, grief is the choice that we could have made but we didn't. Grief is the poor decision that we made that we wish we could take back. Grief doesn't always have to look like heartbreak or losing a loved one. Grief is so many things. So it's a universal feeling that we all experience. And if you're not transmuting it properly with the proper tools, again, you're just storing it inside of you. So we need to get that out of our wombs. All the things. We hold it all there. Every past partner, ugh, like get that shit out.
Yeah, Deanna and I were talking about that pretty recently too. And I'm think about all the partners that we've had and the partners that they've had, and energetically hang on to all like the partners, but then their partners. It's like it hurts my brain, but also, and I'm like, no wonder, like this emotion is not mine. Where is this from? And I'm like, maybe past life, but I'm like, frick, it could be a partner from a partner. Like it's weird to think about.
And I don't know how accurate this is. It feels pretty accurate, and I keep hearing it now, but I keep hearing that it takes 7 full year. Yes, you can do that. You can, cut energy cords, you can clear the energy. There's lots of things you can do, so don't get scared by this. But I heard that it takes 7 years to 100% fully remove all past partners from your energetic space. 7.
Oh, I know
7.
that.
But I'm like, okay, I've been with Russ 7 years this fall, so I'm like, I'm almost there. I'm I'm almost there. And like, okay, we're so close to like having a thank God. And I'm so excited about that. But yeah, man, I mean, just take a moment to think about that. Like, you need some womb healing, people.
Yeah. And our bodies change chemically every 7 years as well. So that makes a lot of sense for me.
Yeah, that's like
Mhm.
it. I've never like researched it, but it feels right. That seems like that would make total sense to me.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. I tested the womb healing, and it was literally like a 2-hour session. I had to break it into like 3 sessions. It was so powerful, and that's the first time I've ever had to break a healing session into mini sessions, because it was so powerful for me, and everyone needs it.
I would say just thinking about that too. And I'm like, who knows what happened in other people's past lives? But like, even though men right now don't have wombs, and I'm like, what if they did
Ooh,
trauma, if they were a woman or, whatever in a past
so
life?
good,
And I'm
Britt.
like, totally be holding on to that as well. Some sort of fear around like, what if my wife passes away giving birth? It could be like any sort of scenario.
Yeah.
Like they could be holding on to some of that too. I mean, now going back to the retreat, and I'm like, we were thinking about, and I think we'll still do this just because it is such a sacred space for women. Um, we're having a few men come to the retreat, separate them, and Dominic, who is one of our facilitators, I love that man. He's so amazing what he does in circle and groups. He's going to separate the men, and they're going to kind of do their own thing. They're going to go to the local stream, and they're going to do a cold plunge, which is going to be really damn
Real cold.
cold, the runoff of all the snow. And so true cold plunge, right? He is certified in Wim Hof breathing, so they'll be doing that. And then we'll have cacao ready for them to warm them back up, and they'll be in a men's circle talking about whatever he decides to do in that moment. But we will the whole group will be having cacao throughout the weekend, or if we end up doing like a full ceremony prior to womb healing. I feel like we always need to be incorporating cacao.
Yes.
We didn't the last time. We didn't have a ceremony last
Mm-mm.
time, but knowing all that it's done for me, and it really gets me into my heart space, with I know I tend to guard sometimes, and I've been getting so many messages like, you need to keep it open, like that's where you're gonna soar, like that's where your healing but also your gifts are going to come into play even more so. And so I really think it's going to be big having cacao every single time.
Yeah, I think that that's definitely like a non-negotiable, especially now that I've become a cacao facilitator. I really want to be able, I'm so honored and so excited to be able to offer that and, have those ceremonies. But just tapping on that for a moment, definitely for you, Britt, like every time, almost every time anyhow, I do Reiki sessions and healing sessions with you, like especially that last one I did, it was like your heart was opening and closing, opening and closing. It was like a light blinking on and off. So yeah, definitely being able to tap into your heart space. Speaking of kind of going off trail here, but like why not? Because today we can. So Britt got Reiki certified through me. What was that, like a week ago? Yeah, like a week ago, so not long ago. So Britt has been taking my course and she got her attunement. Britt, I'd love to hear, because I actually haven't talked to you about this like since. How are you doing? How is the integration period? How are you feeling? All the things.
I feel, I mean, I do feel so much more energy running through parts of my body that I felt were really stagnant before. Like even in my hip area, and we're talking about as women, we hold so much in our womb and our hips. And if you see my body type, I 100% do. And I'm like, actually see it slimming down within a week, which is so wild. And I know when I go through any sort of healing or like with the attunement and I see my body slimming down within the week, and I'm like, holy cow, I was holding on to so much energetically and I had physical weight on my body. And my body will just, the next day it can gain 10 pounds based on a certain experience that I have or a certain thought. It'll just like bring it right back up in my body, like
Wow.
physically onto it. So it's so crazy. So I'm like, I've seen that. I've also been very, very tired,
Yeah.
which you told me happened to you and will most likely happen
Hmm.
because my body's still purging.
Hmm.
It has not been. It takes 21 days to kind of integrate the Reiki energy. So I'm like, I've been really tired, just kind of, and my body seems to be doing it slowly. Like I would have some big purges, like, oh my god, I'm gonna throw up, or like rush to the bathroom, which has definitely happened before in the past with some other healings.
Hmm.
But my body's like, you know what, you need some downtime, you
Hmm.
need some love, and we are gonna slowly integrate you into this. But I feel the energy in my hands, and it's really
Hmm.
cool to feel just like laying in there, like laying in bed at night. And I'm like, I'm gonna sit in this, and if any messages come through, give them to me. And that they're kind of just like, no, we want you to lay here and we want you to feel what it feels like and what you've, not in a blame, shame, guilt type of way, but like what you've been missing out on, and like how much you need to take care of yourself because it's there. It's always been there. And so we really want you to sit in that energy and and this is how you should feel every day.
That makes me happy for you. I'm also happy that you're not having like a violent purge. I didn't do well for I didn't do well for like 10 days. So.
Yeah. But Anna knows this, the week prior to getting attuned and going to
Yeah.
Buffalo, I was having purging moments. And it's like now I can sit in the energy and be present and just and feel how good it feels. But I was like my chest broke out, which I don't really get breakouts, and I was super itchy on my chest, and I was going to the bathroom a lot. I had a gnarly headache that week before, even like the day I got to Buffalo, like I had a headache for like 2 or 3 days. And so my body was like preparing me for it. which I really appreciated. I'm like, thank you so much.
Especially because now clearly that was happening so you could have an easy integration. It's so nice. And same with retreats or any healing modality. When your body knows that it's about to step into a healing space, it will start to prepare and that will pre start the purging process. And I don't
Mhm.
want anyone hearing this to say, well, why would I want to do this and shit myself? Why would I want to do this and get a massive headache? Like, why would I want to do any of these things? I'll say it again. The body keeps the score. Whether you are thinking about it or taking care of it or not, all those things are happening in there anyhow and affecting you. So why not get it out? Like, just go through it and then it's gone. And then there's obviously always something to work on. We're always learning, we're always healing. But yeah, I'm super excited for you. And obviously, you have already had the ability, as we all do, but had the ability to work with energy before, and you have your own way of healing and your
Mhm.
own way of doing things. But it's really cool that now you have this extra, tool in your tool belt to have Reiki, and you'll be assisting me at the retreat as well. And it's Britt and I just love getting things that we're passionate about that we can add to the retreats as we facilitate. Um, and while we never want to be the sole facilitators, like that's just not what we want to do. Actually, what we want to do is the opposite. We want to be able to just be there and hold space and interact with guests. We love having the knowledge and the tools to be able to do the things and assist in the things any way that we can.
Mhm. Yeah. I always think back to what brought me here.
Mm,
It's like all the pain, the hurt, the suffering, the hard times in the past, I would say 10 years, if not my whole
yeah.
life, but just being more aware of it in the last 10 years, it's led me to this point of giving me all the knowledge that I need to support myself, but also others going through very similar things. Um, but it's like I don't I'm so grateful, even though it's like, oh God, that was like a really rough time. Like, oh, my dad, getting in his accident and becoming paralyzed. Oh, the 6 miscarriages that I've had, like, people having cancer, all the things. It's like I sit
Mhm.
in that and I am grateful for those moments because I love the person that I am right now. And I love all the
Mm.
knowledge that I've gained in the last 10 years because then I'm like, I'm freaking awesome. Like, I can help them. They're asking me my advice. All right, let me tell you about this oil that I know about, oregano oil, and what it will do for you. It's like it's just like so cool to think back on some of those things, and it's like now I have all these tools and gifts and knowledge to share with others, and people want to know
Mhm.
too.
Such a good point. But first, I want to say that gave me full body chills and it makes me so happy. And what a journey to be able to get through. And obviously, there's highs and lows, but get through that, the like all the hardships, and then be able to look at it and say, okay, I gained a lot of knowledge from this and I get to help someone else with it, myself and someone else with it, which is literally the point of it all. Like, we go through things that are terrible and you have a choice of, hey, okay, I can let this be my life. I can wallow in it. I can woe is me. I've had all these terrible things happen. So I can be a bad person, or I can, do nothing with myself. Or you can choose to make your pain your power and integrate all of the pain you went through to get the knowledge to help other people, to heal yourself and help other people through it too. Because if not, we would all just be wandering around real angry, real hurt, and nothing to do with it. And those are the people that hurt people, hurt people, hurt people. How many times have I said that? Um, so Britt and I just, really want to make sure that we're here for people with the things that we've been through. And if you're going through it right now, have hope that you can also get through it. And if you feel so called, Britt and I would love to help you do that.
Yeah, we're here for anyone that needs it or wants it, especially being in a safe group like that and having other people come in, and having different knowledge, could definitely add to whatever you need in that moment. And I've really appreciated that, having people come in about, I'm like, I'm not a yoga instructor. I know some of the poses, but I don't know that much about
Right.
yoga and
Yeah.
all that for you, and what you have going on. Like certain poses are for certain things. And so having someone come in that's experienced and certified to help people through that with, all that we do.
Mhm.
And I'm like, this is rad. Like, please, you teach me more. I want to
Mhm.
know, like, what do you do with chaturanga? What does
I
that do for you?
know.
Like all the stuff.
There's definitely some things that we'll probably just never do, like, that we will just always outsource, but it's so amazing to learn. I actually just had that last new moon class, and again, I don't know yoga. Like, I do yoga, I don't know the names of moves, I don't know the proper, like, 100% proper formation. But when I did my new moon class, I ended up doing, I wanted to activate the chakra system first. So I found a yoga move that activates each one before I went into the breath work and the guided meditation and the Reiki, which was super cool because I have, prior to the retreats, really didn't have a lot of knowledge in yoga. And while I am by no means a yoga, like certified yoga provider, um, we've gotten to experience so much that I have a base knowledge that, we can still use for ourselves and still help other people with, which is really cool because we're just always learning.
Yeah, exactly. And just in going off of that, of giving these tools to the people coming to our retreats, then you have some new knowledge to use, um, that could help you, because everyone's recipe is different on what's going to make you better. It's like maybe yoga doesn't make me feel better, but a hit workout makes me feel better. So we tend to change up some things every retreat to get some new stimulus and just some new knowledge and tools for people to take with them.
It's really cool too because, and this really plugs into what we're going to drop at the end of this, is, like you just said, some person might really connect with yoga and really not connect with a hit workout, or vice versa, or really love the breath work or hate the breath work, or really love the sound bath or hate the sound bath. But in these retreats, you get to connect not only with the guest, but the facilitators as well. And so maybe you make a connection and then you end up, hiring that person to help you with your journey. Like, how many people have we met through other people that we end up connecting with and we're like, wow, I love that modality. I either want more healing in it, so I'm going to hire that person for myself, or hey, I love that modality, I want to learn it. Like, there's been people who have come to our retreats who have come here having no idea what they're stepping into, kind of thinking this stuff is weird, kind of being scared, not knowing that they have the confidence to be around a bunch of people that they don't know. And by the end of it, uncovering that they have this really amazing gift and then going and learning a modality and offering it to other people. So it's really amazing the things that this offers, the confidence that'll come from it, the awareness that'll come from it, maybe unlocking some secret gifts that you didn't even know that you had. That one's just kind of a given. But yeah, it's just really amazing what all this can bring for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, talking about breath work, we do have a new breathwork facilitator coming, and Deanna and I got to do a session with her, and holy crap. And I had never done that type of breath work before. Really easy to follow, which I'm happy about, especially some of the people coming in and they're new, like you were talking about, to some of these things. So it's a really easy breath work follow. If you want to talk a little about that, Dee.
Yeah, so we met with Mackenzie, and Mackenzie is truly the start of all of this for me because she was on my network marketing team through a downline consultant, and I was working with her because that consultant lived out of town and or out of state. But anyhow, I had made a story talking about all these terrible nightmares that I had, and she reached out and she was like, this might be weird, but you should come to meet this lady that I'm training through. She can help you heal through your nightmares. And I'm like, fantastic. Sounds great. So I drove to a town an hour away and did these sessions with her. And it changed my life. And now we're here, and it was doing these things that I would have otherwise never known about. So I've known Mackenzie for a while, and she's been traveling out of state to get super certified in breath work. Britt, was it somatic breath work? Is that what we did? Yeah. Okay. So there's so many different kinds of breath work. Um, we went there and did that. And she also does shamanic healing. So that's where her other healings are based out of. And I've said this before, I never knew what was being done to me. Now I know it's shamanic healings. I've just known that I was feeling better and that great things were happening. So I'm like, yeah, keep doing it. Um, it was super powerful. It's so crazy because Britt and I, okay, mind you, so we're in this little room. I don't know, we'll call it a 10 by 10 room. Totally could be wrong, but that's what we're going to call it. And so it's smaller. Britt and I are right next to each other. And while we're both doing this session, after, obviously, we talk about it because Britt and I are having this experience where we're kind of journeying separately in our own containers. And we both felt like we were the only people in the room. Like Britt literally thought I left. Like
I did. I know that Deanna's here. I feel her. I literally thought she left the circle because it's gridded out and she was standing in the corner of the room. And I'm like, what are you doing over? I'm like thinking to myself, having my own experience. I'm like, what is she doing
I
over?
was in fact 6 inches away from her. And yeah, I felt like I was just elsewhere. I was just that was so I've done a bit of breath work now, and I have like my brain was off. I had no thoughts. Like think of all the thought. We have millions of thoughts every day. Like a bajillion thoughts. I had 2 thoughts come in that entire time we were there. We were there for what, 45 minutes, an hour maybe? We were there for a while. My brain was so clear, and I was just healing. I was doing whatever needed to be done. I got to see my soul. My soul came in, and my soul said, I was truly feeling nothing. I was just breathing and focusing on the breathing. Nothing was coming up, no emotions, no thoughts. And then when I saw my soul said, you are ready to live. And I just started bawling. Like it was just like a moment of my soul was like, okay, it's time. Like you've done the work. You've released what you've needed to release. You've learned the lessons that you needed to learn up to this point, and you're ready to start truly living your life. And it was a really beautiful moment. And then there was one other thing. I can't remember what was said. I think it was this. Okay, so this might have been that might have been I think that was the second thing that happened, because the first thing that happened was I heard you're ready to let it go, and that's when I started screaming. So I let the anger out first, and then after that, my soul came in and said you're ready to live. But those were the only 2 thoughts that came in that entire time, and that is really hard to do, to shut off all your thoughts for that long and just to be in that 0 point state of just existing. Dang. Like it was a very powerful experience. Mackenzie and Callie, because she had someone there with her who will also be at the retreat, was really, 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 really powerful. That was my experience. Britt, if you want to share what happened with you.
I would say it's probably very similar for me. Like my mind was just blank. Usually I have like like visions coming in of something that happened in a past life or this lifetime that I need to let go. Or I see a lot of colors. I usually move my body a lot. I'm stretching. I'm sometimes up and dancing and
And
moving and
twerking.
whatever, and twerking. I do known to twerk. But I was like very calm. I didn't cry at all, and I do. I did see like a big red light, which I saw the night before, and I was like, my eyes are closed. Is this real? Like, what is going on? I've never seen this before. Like, it was like it looked like there was like red headlights like right in my eyes, and so I saw that light again.
I'm going to look it up while you're talking.
But it felt like more I got a lobotomy. Like my brain was so clear just thinking back to it. And I was just like, what the heck just happened? I'm so relaxed. My nervous system has just been reset. Um, And so it was just a different experience than I've had with other types of breathing techniques, and
Mhm.
I loved it. Like, I feel so relaxed right now, like, I wanna be in this for a long time. And I had to hop on a plane later, but I'm like, I put on a meditation on plane, I'm like, "I'm still gonna sit in this. No, y'all are gonna affect me right now. I'm putting up my protection bubble, and we are good."
I know because we did so much. I mean, we did a cacao ceremony, we did that breath work session, and we had talked about that because you're like, I literally have to get on a plane, and you're like, I'm not letting anyone or anything bring down my vibe.
No, I didn't, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm learning boundaries."
Okay, so to continue that, so I forgot at the very end I saw bright purple. And so we had looked in it because in my house, for whatever reason, I have not whatever reason, I know why they're assisting me. I have continuously seen that bright red light. And Britt was at my house obviously when she saw the bright red light. And so coming out of that session, I saw a bright purple light. And so both were archangels and they function on different colored rays. And so the archangel that um, is on the red ray is Archangel Uriel. And so that's what Britt was seeing. And that archangel represents wise service, like wisdom and knowledge. And the archangel that I was seeing was Archangel Zadkiel, which represents mercy and transformation. And so it's two super powerful experiences for us, which were really awesome. And then I want to wrap up talking about that with what happened to me after that. And so we finish. Oh, well, first, Callie had said that she felt such a strong divine feminine energy flowing from us, which we both were so grateful for. Like, that's such a beautiful compliment, and something that we're both really trying to embody is that divine feminine energy, and really healing that. So that was amazing for her to feel that. And so as they're like closing out the ceremony, Callie said something along the lines of, she was asking Mackenzie if she should get rid of the energetic leech that she felt on me. And I'm like, what? Yeah, like, don't ask that question. Please get it off of me. And it was kind of one of the wildest experiences I had because as they were removing it, literally my whole body was moving. Like, as she was, it was like something was being removed from my spine. Um, and I was like, they were holding me, and then she was removing. It didn't hurt. I didn't feel anything. My body was just moving. Like, I knew they were literally removing something from me. So I was really bothered by this because I'm like, I do so much energetic protection daily, energy baths, morning and night. Like, how did I pick up a freaking energetic leech? And so I was sitting in this, and it became very clear to me later as to where it came from. And it is again a past relationship that will literally not let me go and wishes me very ill will, um, and still is like trying to siphon my life energy essentially. So, so glad that that's gone, and such a crazy experience to have it to gone through that, and for them to have the ability to see that and do that, how powerful and how amazing. So we're really excited to have them at the retreat and obviously be able to offer this to our guests as well. um and it's kind of scary, don't want to scare anyone, but kind of scary that, like, what are other people holding on to? If I was holding on to that, not holding on to that, but if I had that attached to me, what are other people dealing with? Because I am very good about my spiritual and energetic hygiene.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I know, like, all the energy clearings that I've had, I know when something is attached to me, and I'm like, "I'm really tired right now." Like,
Mhm.
I'm tired. If I'm in my own pure source energy and I'm in Brittany energy, I should have a ball of energy running through me, you know? And if I'm tired, I'm like, something's here that should not be here. And so then I'll go into, one of the clearings that I know, which we are having a clearing class retreat, which is new, but I'm like, we need to share this with people. Like, it's it's gonna just on the daily morning and night, which Jana we've talked about, like we need to do it morning and night. Who knows what's coming at night, especially in our dreams and attaching onto us. But what you pick up throughout the day, if you're around people, if you're talking to people, if you're watching something, it'll get you.
You know what I just learned recently too? I don't remember who, but I was watching a shaman's Instagram channel and they were explaining that literally everybody's souls astral travel while we're sleeping because it's like they're like, okay, human life is great, but the physical world is really heavy and very hard. And there's a lot of like heavy energies. So they're like, we're going to dip out and go back to the spiritual energetic realm because it's pure light there or whatever, but they're traveling through the different dimensions, the different wherever. So literally you have to clear your energy in the morning because in your dreams as you're traveling all the things you're bringing that back with you. So yeah, it's so important that we clear. Ever since Britt and I have talked about that, I don't know about you, but I've been clearing every morning. I've been shutting down my chakra systems at night to make sure nothing's taking my energy. I have been sleeping so great. I have not been having nightmares. I've been sleeping like at least 8 hours. I actually had my personal training clients come back from Florida yesterday and they were like, you look completely different. And I've had them for the last couple of years. They're like, you look so just glowy and rested and rejuvenated. Like they're like, there's just something different about you. And so the things are really making a difference.
I'd love to hear that. I totally agree. And I'm like looking at her video that we posted from last year about the retreat to this year. And I'm like, look at us. Look at us. Like we were both like a little heavier. And I would say that's a lot of like energy just attached to us and bogging us down. And look different, you know?
That last class, that new moon class that I did, one of the Ashley, who's one of our guests, she literally was like, "You look so skinny," and I'm like, "I don't know, I haven't been doing anything different," but it's literally exactly like you just said. That energetic baggage is. I just had this conversation the other day too, is that most people when they're trying to lose weight, yeah, that's great. Working out's fantastic. Changing your nutrition is the biggest component. But if you're not addressing your traumas and addressing your just the stresses and all the things, that energetic weight is not coming off.
Can go anywhere. Trust me, I've tried it all. I take supplements. I move my body, probably not as much as I should in this moment because it's really cold outside. I like I was saying earlier, and I'm like, I could be 10 pounds heavier the next day, but I know like when I'm holding on to something, the weight just sheds. It's really wild to just be like so aware of that. And when the weight's not coming off, or I have a lot more cellulite, or I actually have like inflammation, like puffiness to the touch, which happens for me a lot. And I'm like, okay, I need to let something go, or I need to go inwards and see what it is so I can just, clear it out because it's not doing me any good in this
No,
moment.
it's not. I saw a video of I was talking about the retreat. It was our very first one. So it was promoing for the very first retreat. And I literally cried. I was like, I look so sad. I look so sad. My eyes were so sad. It's like heartbreaking. I just looked so different versus now where it's just like vitality is flowing through me, forgiveness, love, processing my grief, awareness, totally different. It just goes back to for us, even as the facilitators, we are healing right along with you. And so much work has been done in this past year. I think too, I want to hit on this before I lose it is, we really worked through so much. Britt and I, the first two retreats, all, working out the kinks, figuring out how things were going to go, putting everything together. We really never had any like hangups. Like both of them flowed very easily, I would say. But we are so confident and know what we have to offer moving forward that if you have not plugged into these retreats, now is the time, because they are going to be next level. They were amazing and incredible, these last two. Um, but I am so confident in what we have to offer moving forward, and it's only going to grow, and it's only going to get better and more powerful and expand. So yeah, you're not going to want to miss out on what's coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and so that's just, I really want to talk about our project. And so, that's just like a few of the things that we are having at the retreat. I mean, Deanna's doing manifestation. We're doing a fire ceremony. We are doing yoga. I'm doing posture. We're doing some arts and crafts. I have a girlfriend flying in from Sacramento facilitating one of those. Really enjoying the outdoors. But for people that cannot come to a retreat, or it's a little out of their price range in that moment, we want to be able to offer as much as we can to really everyone. And we want to make it affordable. And we really want to help the masses heal and to up level and live the life that we're meant to live and that we want to live, because we all can. We all have that in us. Things just hold us back. And so as we constantly learn and evolve, Dean and I, and we're gathering these tools and we're making connections with all these different peoples and networking, it's like we came up with an idea of a membership program. What?
That's going to be my promo clip, by the way. But I am so excited. I mean, this was something that Britt and I thought about at the last retreat. The download came in, and we're like, okay, but not yet. And so Britt flew in last week, and that was our sole intention, was to create this. And it was, I mean, thinking about it, kind of crazy. Like, we had some cacao, and in 30 minutes, maybe an hour, we banged out the entire first 6 months, created exactly what we wanted to do, came up with the logo, have the idea, found the platform to put it on. We have so much to offer you guys. We're so excited. Um, I mean, I think for me, one, I'll say this: anyone who comes to the retreat gets their first month to the membership free. So another reason why you should come to the retreat, and you get to be plugged into this. Integration is so important, like the most important component, honestly. And we have these beautiful weekends, and you get back to your heart space, and back to yourself, and back to, realizing what your soul wants. And then the weekend's over, and you have to go back to the hustle and bustle of life, and you're stuck in traffic and flipping someone off, and your boss is yelling at you for a deadline, and your kids are screaming, and someone pooped on themselves, and like all the things, right? And because that's my life. All the things. And then it's like, okay, this spiritual stuff is great, but like, it's not convenient. Well, now it is, because we want to make sure not only is that integration process there for our retreat guests, but that everyone has the ability to plug into this online, this membership that we're calling the Empowered Collective, which I love. I love. So it feels so good just to be able to look. Essentially, what it's going to be is, we have something weekly every month. So once a week, you're going to have some sort of healing. And then we have one big workshop a month where we bring in a facilitator, or we offer a big workshop. And you get to experience the retreats online at an extremely affordable price point. And it is going to be such a powerful container. Um, Man, I'm excited.
I'm so excited just knowing our lineups of facilitators and what we're offering. And I'm like, I'm going to get so much from this, And I'm like, I can't wait to like see what they have to offer and like all that they're going to do for us. I'm stoked.
Yeah, I can't wait. And we'll, I'll have Britt on again so we can dive more into the retreat and more into the membership as this all unfolds. But yeah, just quick recap. Retreat, April 21st to 23rd. Right now, this is just for the empowered listeners. This is not going to be anywhere else, because the early bird sale is about to end. But for podcast listeners only, your price is $777. That's it. Like there will not be a price jump. For other people it is. So if you're listening, I will have in the show notes how you can do that, but it's $777 for the retreat. You can hold your spot for $250 and then make payments up to the week before the retreat. So hold your spot because spots are limited. And again, all inclusive, your lodging, your food, and all of the healing events modalities that we have. Everything is included. Your first month's membership to the Empowered Collective membership. And you get to hang with us, which who wouldn't want to hang with us? We're great. And, just plugging into a like minded community of people who are super supportive and super loving. And the connections continue far past the retreat. So you get to find your tribe. And if you're scared or, you're unsure or you don't want to, you're nervous about putting yourself out there, I highly encourage you to do it because it is priceless and it's amazing. And it is definitely one of those moments in your life where it's like before the retreat and after the retreat. And I'm not just saying that, all of our guests say that. So we really want to have you. And we really want to have you as a part of the membership as well. But we're so excited.
We're so excited. I'm just like, thank you for having me on. And I'm like, on again because I'm like, we could just keep talking and talking.
Literally, we could just keep talking to talk. So I will cut it here before we get any longer, and we'll come back again. But Britt, thank you so much for getting on. Everyone listening, this is just like an insight into what we do every day in our free time.
Our brains a little bit. This was just like a smidge.
Yeah, this is like the tip of the iceberg. But yeah, come along on the ride with us. We'd love to have you again. Everything will be in the show notes. The special discount, check out our website, all the things. But thank you for listening. I love you all. Thank you, Britt, for being here. And we will see you again soon. Oh, Britt, before I wrap up, okay, the fate of this is in your hands. This was unscripted. Am I going to announce who my guest interview is for next week right now? Or am I gonna leave it a mystery until I have said guest on next week?
I think that you tell them.
All right, guys, you heard it here first. Britt is, I guess, feeling extra kind today. I am like sweating saying this, and I can't believe that it's really happening. I have probably dropped her name 1,000 times on this podcast, and this is like the tip for me. Like this is the tippy top point. So next week on the Empowered Podcast, Debbie Neal will be guest interviewed. So excited. Can't believe it's happening. So yeah, we'll be jumping back into just talking all things entrepreneurship. And if you need a fire lit under your ass, that is the woman who is going to do it for you. So make sure you tune in. Britt, love you. Thank you again. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. If you want to find out more, you can follow me on Instagram at Empowered with Deanna and my personal page, Fit Deanna Lolita. You can also visit me on my website, which is deannamerlinofit.com. Make sure that whatever platform you guys are listening on, please rate and subscribe. And this means so much to me. It's going to help get me out there to help so many other people. I'm so grateful that you're here with me on this journey of wellness and self-empowerment. I cannot promise that it will always be easy, but I do know that it will always be worth it. Stick with me, and together, let's start living as the version of us that we were meant to be. Because the world is waiting for your gifts, and you deserve to live the life of your wildest dreams and beyond. So friends, let's get empowered.